Hello there everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of my new tutorial series for Mind Over Magic. It is a game that has been freshly released into early access, and therefore this series is referring to that. So if your game looks a little bit different than the one that I'm showing here, this is because of the progress of the game. Let me know in the comment section once this video series is no longer holding up. Most likely, I will be doing something new then. So, we are going to go over all the aspects of the game. I'll be going step by step with you through all the things you need to understand. This is not meant to give you a cookie cutter, ideal, best solution playstyle kind of tutorial. I want you to understand how the game works, and then you just do your thing and enjoy yourself with it. That is my plan for this tutorial series, so let's get right into it. We start a new game together. And difficulty level wise, I go for Relentless. Feel free to play relaxed if that's suiting more your playstyle, as this is just a little bit less pressure, and this is just the regular gameplay experience, I'd say. We're going to go into Customize here, and at the spot where there's Magic Seed, you can just get into this, and then we have the same starting map. That's all we do here. We start the game there. And that brings us now on the next screen to the starting mages. So these starting mages are linked to the game seed, and you can re-roll them as much as you want to. You will always stick with the same species, and you will have variety in those stats of the mage. You also reroll the wand that they use, which is basically defining their base skills. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, the easiest and simplest thing is to roll until you have a decent amount of power on your character, combined with a decent amount of HP. This guy is a little bit weak on the HP side, this girl, but her spell power is really decent, so we keep it like that. There's a ton of different things that you can and will adjust over the course of the time. I just want to point towards there. Here you have traits, medallions, they are called in this game. They're basically the stats and skills of your characters, and the wand defines your combat skills when you're doing the exploration part. But beyond that, in this game you get the ability to recruit tons of different people, and therefore it's not really much to worry about. Wing it when necessary, keep an eye out on HP and magic power, and the rest will unfold over the course of the time. Now, we found our school, and that is the point where we see our school as it is. So we have here the basement. This is our mana font, which is basically where all the mana for the school is coming from. We have a student summoner here, which allows us later to summon students. And we have a book of rituals, which is basically a nice book which describes what all these things do. Now, the first thing we do is we click the mana font and we select Repel Fog. This ritual, you drag and drop one of your sorcerers on it, and then we unpause the game. And just like that, the fog disappears and we see the world. As another thing, we have also gained the spirit of the founder of the school. As the school has been destroyed by the fog, only his or her spirit remains. The fog is basically the antagonist of the game. It will push back towards your school every day, and you need to do on a daily basis these repel fog rituals to push back the fog again. The further we push it back, the better resources we gain together. That's the rule of thumb here. Okay, up here we see our wizards that we have available. Down here we have now the basement that we can work with. We have a building menu featuring lots of different building parts and several other menu things that I'm going to explain to you over the course of the time. So, this series will feature each and every episode different topics, but we're going to go a little bit all over the board. It's going to be more of a let's play thing, as this game has very many different connected things, so it's really hard to just make a tutorial about one chapter and then the other, as things will happen in between. This is the nature of survival sandbox games. It's pretty typical for that. So, to do anything, we need resources. Without resources, we can't do anything. As you see here, everything we could construct requires stone and wood, and that is where we are going to get started. So, you just select tree, select it to chop, and we select a couple of stone outcroppings, and probably like that, and we unpause the game now. We have 3 mages, so I would recommend to go for 3 jobs to begin with. So now you see everybody grabs a job to their own liking. They chop trees, they smack rocks, and that's how we select, that's how we gather our resources. You can press Q and E to speed up the time. We're going to speed it up on 2. Down here you see the passage of time. This is your death clock, so to say. So 2 days and then we are deado. So we need to gather the resources to push back the fog. This is something you should do each and every day as pretty much your standard task and a very important task. So if you check back with the rituals, you can see it requires gut berries and wood. We have already gathered a bit of wood, but what about these gut berries? So there's tons of different things growing outside there, but what you're looking for are these red berry thingies. So you press harvest. You can harvest them. You can also just double click them to select all of them that are currently visible on the screen. So you'll have them now selected 6 times. But I wouldn't recommend to harvest too much at the beginning of the game, as we have no storage furniture. Things can go bad in the rain. We don't want to have too much of that. But like we start here, see here, over here in the corner, we have all the resources available. And we have now 6 gut berries, so people can eat some. We also have some stone and some wood, so that's a good start. The very first thing that I want to craft or create here are beds. So we go here, go for cots, and when you hover over it, you see that we need 5 pieces of wood. We have 3 people in the school right now, but that spirit won't sleep, so we only need 2 beds. So you can put them wherever you want, as you see there, also in the underground area. And since it'll take a bit of time until we have the surface area fully under control, we're going to put the beds downstairs there. So people can have a sleep at night. And as you see there, resources are being taken and beds are being constructed. That's a very, very simple way to get the basic requirements for your people down without needing to worry too much about getting things done not in time. Alright, so we have a bit of stone, we have a bit of wood. So let's check back with the construction. We have here a solid foundation. You see all these boarded tiles. And if we go for construction, you notice that we cannot build walls on this kind of ground, but we can build walls over here. So we need rooms for various tasks. One of the most important things to note is that the game has a system that gives bonuses depending on how well the room is suited for its task. And for example, a couple of beds right next to the mana crypt are not exactly the best bedroom that a wizard could wish for. So you will never get any bonuses if you go for a pragmatic solution like I do here, but it gets the job done. So you can take these rooms as safe spots early on, but we need to construct something that gets us somewhere. When we check out the construction, we do see walls require stone, floor requires stone and wood, roofs require wood. So you have a pretty big pressure on the stone in the construction phase. So we are going to go and therefore select a couple of these stone outcrops. You see here how many stone units you can get out of it and how much you can mine per mining progress. It's important to note out that everybody is a bit better or worse at things depending on their magic schools and their talents and their medallions and whatnot. So it does come to the point later that we will specialize our wizards for their tasks, but at the beginning I cannot really recommend that. What's really important in my book is that whenever you see that idle staff thing popping up, this is absolutely a sign that it would be wise to do something, because idle time is just bad time. Now, we go on over here and we build a wall here. I do 5 stories high, and we do that on both sides. So we can define the edges of our school. So if we build like that, nobody can pass through it because those walls are solid. So we need doors at both ends, and that's going to be our foundation. We are going to go and place down a spiral stair upwards here. let's see, something like that, as close as possible to my main stairwell. And this will be the main stairwell for the school. As we will be getting our rooms left and right done from that, this doesn't make sense to you yet, it will in a hot minute, promise. So, we are running low on wood now, so we totally need to chop some more trees. Feel free to do that on both sides of the end, and that is how we can get ourselves a nice starting area done. Here we go. So we have a couple of walls, but that is not making rooms yet. So we need to select, to bring up a roof over on top of that. So if you would do it like that, this would make it one giant room. We don't necessarily want that. So let's get ourselves walls in here and in there. And maybe we just do a hallway here. Hallways don't cost you any resources, and they can't be... they are just openings between walls. And now we use floor and connect all that, but unluckily we don't have stone and wood in sufficient amounts. It's a constant pressure there that you have to face early on, especially stone and wood are the main resources. Don't worry too much about collecting anything else, because right now it's mostly about expanding our school. Food, these 6 gut berries will be enough for the next meal, and when you notice that the food number goes down, you can just safely harvest a couple of them extra. There's really enough food to go around early on. So there we go. We have now, let's see, 2 stone outcroppings being farmed. And that means we can now set in some floorings. And just like that, we will be finishing our first few rooms. There we go. And as you see here, the walls will be ripped out and replaced. Whenever you draw something new over an existing structure, the existing structure will get removed if necessary and just be replaced as needed. The game is quite intelligent already in that end, which is to me quite impressive, as this is a early access build after all. But yeah, what's worth mentioning is that you have a 100% return of investment, so you don't have to ever worry about anything, as the game will always give you back what you have put into the construction of those things. So there is nothing you have to worry about in terms of wrong constructions, losing you resources. The game doesn't put that stress on you. Alright, so as you see now, the rooms are there, and they are quite dark, so we want lighting. For that, we need torches. For that, we need viscera. For viscera, we need to kill rats. It's just a circle of life. So these rats can be hunted. Don't worry, they are no risk at all for your sorceress. They don't even fight back. And we can just put a hunting task on them. There we go. So with that viscera, we will be able to set up some lighting there. And that is our first few rooms. Isn't that perfect? So one big problem remains though. If it would be raining now, our rooms would get wet, because floor is not holding away rain as far as I know. So we're going to have to construct a roof over all that. And just like this will be our school finished. So we put it down like that, and now you go over here to adjust it. I personally prefer roofs that are not as terribly high at that end, because at the end of the day, we will be ripping out this roof pretty soonish anyway, so we don't want to make it too high. Because if things are too high, they get unreachable. Then you need to set up a new piece of floor first, and yeah, things get a little bit complicated. We just leave it like that. Like I said before, none of these resources are permanently bound or anything. It is just an investment of wood for a couple of times. So, we now select our lighting. The color of the lighting, by the way, is totally down to your liking. There is no distinct advantage or disadvantage to these, as far as I know. So we're going to put down at least 2 lamps each. I say at least because typically you want more of these. And if you, like you see, if you scroll left and right a little bit, you can also use each and every wall of the room. That's pretty nifty and cool. So Lighting. It is important as a dark room spawns void rooms. A dimly lit room also spawns void rooms. A well-lit room doesn't spawn void rooms. What are void rooms? They are plants that are just eating your mana. Mana is being used by your tasks and being replenished at the mana font. So basically, these mushrooms are just bad for your health. So the fog has advanced, which it does once a day, and now we can go for our daily fog repelling ritual, but as you see there, we're lacking wood. So we chop a tree, and that's gonna be it. Alright. It's getting towards nighttime, so our mages will work a little bit further, but they'll go to bed very soon. And there it goes. Alright, let's speed up the game properly. And if I now wanted to prefer a certain task, there is a priority screen down here. So the simple thing is, if you want something to get done, you just increase the priority. So for example, I want my founder to chop that tree, so I increase the priority to 4. Every task has a standard priority of 3. So if you want to have a focus on a certain task, just put it on that priority that you want to. Now, our wizards down here have gone to bed, but undead obviously don't need to sleep, so our spirit of the founder is still doing his or her job, which is pretty nice. So let's get into the lighting area, and you see here, it is just a flat-out numerical value. A room needs to fill a certain amount of lighting, and then it is lit. As you see here in this room, it has a capacity of 288 lighting points, and therefore we need to put in another one. This one has a lower capacity of light points, and yeah, you need to get above 50%. That's just the name of the game. And this is how you can read it out. So we would need to add in another torch, and we will do so as soon as our mages have woken up, that is. Alright, the roof is almost done, and as you see here, once it is done, the room is enclosed, and it is fully usable and accessible. That's just what we wanted. Alright, so our living mages are almost awake, so let's wait for them to wake up. And now we do the repel fog ritual. Like you see, good berries and wood are necessary, and as a rule of thumb, everybody needs roughly 1 piece of food per day, roughly. So 1 gut berry feeds a mage 1 day. There are better substances for making your people happy. Oh, we need more wood for that task, as I see. Oh, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. There are better foods than gut berries, but we have to start somewhere after all. Okay, but the good part is our school is almost ready to be furnished. Alright, the fork has been pushed back again, and I want to show you that we could do that one more time. And we should do that one more time. As I wanted to introduce to you something here. But let's first gather a couple of extra resources here. Bit of gutberry, bit of rat, because I want to bring up the lighting here accordingly. Alright. Oh, wait a sec. So we can cancel these as we want to put in walls there first. So I'm going to use, like I said, this as my central staircase. Just like that. Oh, I don't have the resources for that again. Yeah. Sadly, we cannot put ghosts or something like that down. Anyways, so we have all that now done. Now it's time for some real stuff. So we want to have an arcane secretary and a wand shaper. The arcane secretary allows us to do research, and the wand shaper allows us to craft wands. Wands allow us to recruit new pupils, so that's the circle of life, so to say. in wizard school. Alrighty. So stuff like that sometimes happen. As you see here, my roof has been ripped apart. We need to fix that. In a situation like that, you just need to put down something like this, and this will work. You don't need to worry much more about it. Okay, so now we put down a wand shaper in here. Let's do this. You can also press R to rotate it. The green squares are the squares that can be worked at, and we're going to put the arcane secretary right next to that. For now, that is. And here you see we have an unreachable piece of roof here. So we already have our first bit of defunct furniture, but that is okay, as we don't need to put this to any task. And as long as there is a brick wall behind it, it is functional, so you don't need to worry about that too much. Alright, so eventually we will bring up the stairwell further up, and eventually, therefore, it will be no problem anymore that this is unreachable, as we will rip out the roof and set a new one up there. You are really, really flexible in these aspects. Okay, so we have now research available and wand crafting available. Okay, so let's get over to research real quick. Research is quickly explained. You press that research button, and we get to select what kind of tech we want to research. It's a tree type thing. That means from top to bottom, or yeah, top to bottom. So that means we have to research this tech before we can research the other techs. The first thing that I want to research are domesticated gut berries. You could also go for rustic gourmet first. Both are good techs to go for. Most importantly, the gut berry planter that this unlocks allows us to grow gut berries whenever we want to, and that is a pretty good thing. So let's go over to the priority menu. Here we can select who's going to do what in what kind of priority. So you now check out, you hover over the mage that has the highest lightning skill, and that one, you left click it once to make him prefer that task, and then he will go sciencing above other things. This will be now applied whenever there is any task, when there is no other task more urgent than that, so keep that in mind. And it will only happen if there is a research defined. If there is no research project currently defined, there will be also no research be happening. Alright, at the wand shaper, we can order wands. Wands are different elements, and the wand that a sorcerer student chooses is defining his main talent. As you see there, somebody with a fire wand will raise his talent of fire magic to 3 and all the other talents of magic to a different level. We have currently a fire wand and a water wand present, so we probably don't want to craft these another time. So let's build an earth wand. Every wand does require different resources, so we do this, and here we craft it one time. That's perfectly fine for us. So to get things done properly, though, we need to make sure that we now have enough lighting in here. And we should put another bed in here, because if we get ourselves another student, we will need another bed. But for now, let's get that fog repelled. And the more sorcerers you put in there, the more repulsion effect you will have. So let's do this for once with 3 people. It won't make the whole deal go faster or anything. It'll just increase the amount of pushback. The resources you require for that ritual are depending on the amount of pushback that is currently happening, so to say. It comes closer to your school whenever this hour passes at 10 p.m. and your ritual pushes it back again. That's pretty much it. Now we can do it again, and since we haven't pushed the fog back enough, it's not costing us anything else yet. Basically, when the costs change, you know that you made your job well enough to make the fog angry enough that it wants more resource from you. All right. So, we have crafted our first wand. So now we only need a extra bed. We'll put it up here, as I want to make this my bedroom. And we go here to the student summoner, and now we summon ourselves our first student. I'm gonna let the summoning be done by this ghost guy, and here you select now wand. Red means you have one, gray means you have none, so we just begin the ritual. And we're summoning our first student into the school. Students are really important for your school in so many different aspects, but I will be going over that over the course of the series. What's really important to note is that students have not the same amount of tasks that they can do compared to a grown-up wizard, so to say. So therefore, they are limited and they require schooling. So let's put up the last thing that we need, and that's a learning stone. So we need wood, stone, and viscera. So we have something to do for our magi, for our ancestor friend. There we go. And that's one of the real big benefits of your spirit leader, as he can totally work at night, while the other people have to worry about their sleep schedule. All right, the learning stone goes inside a separate room, as this will transform the room now into a sleeping room, or not sleeping room, a study room. Very sorry. So. Let's wait a moment longer until that's done. And then we are pretty much at the end of the first episode. So, there we go. The learning stone will be our first classroom, so to speak. There we go. And the first research has been completed, but I will be taking that also as another day's topic. I just want to finish this real quick, as we have then the foundations and the basics of our school down. So we have now a basic classroom. It doesn't have much luxury, and it has a certain learning rate and a couple of words that are pretty confusing and all if you're new to this. But we have a school with a hole in the roof, which is not that much of a big deal, as we will replace it. And like I said, as long as there is a stone backing of your room, everything is just fine. Jokes aside, everything now is working out as intended. The only thing that we need to worry about here is the lack of gut berries, but as we have now completed our tech, we can now grow the gut berries ourselves. But I will do that on the beginning of the next episode. For today, we will just leave it like that. We'll just cut another tree, harvest a couple of gut berries, and what's left for me to say is that thank you so much for watching. It's been my pleasure. I hope you guys enjoy. Next episode, we go a little bit deeper into the intricacies of this game. I will explore the systems a little bit deeper. I want to talk about the status system and the medallions. There's a lot of things that I want to cover, but I wanted to give you a basic and quick introduction in this episode. So let's watch our wizards push back the fog one more time while we're doing the outro. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below, and if you have any tasks and things explained in the series, let me know in the comment section. I'd be really happy. I also want to point towards the description box, where you can find many goodies. There is a playlist link to this tutorial series. Currently there's only one episode in it, but there will be more while I'm recording this. There's also links to my Discord, so you can hop on in, have a chat with me or like-minded gamers. And then there's also Patreon, PayPal, and Buy Me a Coffee. I'd be delighted if you'd give them a look, as these are the best ways and means to support the channel. These series are a lot of work to do after all, and I'm very happy about all the support I can get. So, what's left to say? Thank you for watching this video, and thanks for all the supporters out there. Next episode, we will continue making this place shine. See you all there, and have a wonderful day.